CVM every Tuesday and Sunday at 9 p.m.
Start saving for your golden years with a Sagicor lifestyle-approved retirement scheme. The time by Sagicor Life is
7 o'clock.
Tonight in CVM News at 7, MoneyGram in Portmore Mall robbed. Calls for urgent upgrades following alleged Parliament arson. And Southeast St. Catherine PNP caretaker Dr. Alfred Dawes claims he was poisoned. Also this evening, bodies found in Slipe Road Gully. In the business report, the evolution of Supreme Ventures Limited. And in sports, Reed replaces Burke in Reggae Boys squad.
From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7. I'm Stephen McHugh.
And I'm Curlin Brown. It's Monday, June 3, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. The police, with the assistance of firefighters, recovered the bodies of two men dumped in a gully along Slipe Road in Kingston.
Now, based on information coming to the fore so far, it's theorized the men may have been killed hours before on the weekend. Our reporter Natalia Clark has more details.
Behind these buildings, shrouded from public gaze and scrutiny, a rather gruesome scene was discovered Monday morning. Two men whose bodies were riddled with bullets, particularly to the face, head, and chest, were found. The police were alerted to the crime scene around 7 o'clock, but two business operators theorized that the men were killed Sunday evening as loud explosions were heard around 6 o'clock. The police say 30 spent shells were recovered, suggesting the men were mercilessly sprayed with bullets. When Superintendent of Police Marlon Nesbeth, head of the St. Andrew Central Police Division, was contacted Monday afternoon, he said the police are doing some work around it and are not speaking yet. A reliable source, however, disclosed that the police have a theory and are working to connect the dots. The bodies were reportedly found directly behind a popular business place, and the men are said to have been wearing masks. We'll have the updates on the incident in subsequent reports. Natalia Clark, CVM News.
Meanwhile, the wait continues for a family in grief as 29-year-old teacher Daniel Anglin's fate remains uncertain. Things came to a head on Monday when the police found remains in Clarendon following leads into the teacher's disappearance. Here's more from Nika Lewis.
Grief and panic is setting in all over again for the family of St. Peter Claver Primary School teacher, 29-year-old Daniel Anglin. Anglin disappeared weeks now after allegedly leaving home last month for school but not reaching her desired destination. Despite the pleas, protests, and tears of her loved ones, still no sign of her. At least not until Monday, when, like any other family missing a loved one, news came that police found remains allegedly of a woman along Quarry Road, Salt River District in Clarendon. The discovery was made sometime after 6 in the morning in bushes and proved a mystery left to be solved by DNA testing. Anglin's loved ones were shattered, fearing the worst despite trying to cling to what hope was left. Initial media reports had suggested the remains could be the missing educator, but relatives who spoke off camera to our news team shot down those allegations, insisting their loved one is still among the living. Her mother wept bitterly before fleeing to the safety of their family home in the corporate area. Relatives explained Anglin's elderly mother has been grappling with the disappearance of her daughter and opted to stay away from their residence in Portmore, where Daniel lived. Police combed sections of Clarendon in a massive search, and information is that a suspect is now in custody in relation to the teacher's disappearance. The suspect is believed to be a taxi operator. Meantime, despite tight-lipped investigators, relatives have since confirmed that police have collected DNA samples for testing. Nika Lewis, CVM News.
And the Deputy Commissioner of Police, who heads the crime portfolio in the country, Fitz-Bailey, says investigations into the whereabouts of Daniel Anglin led to the arrest of a taxi operator. In a media release moments ago, the crime chief provided the latest in the case.
The team visited her community and her school and conducted a number of interviews. The team also utilized available technologies and forensic capabilities which allowed for identification of a number of vehicles which were assessed and analyzed, and with skill application of their training, identify a vehicle of interest. The driver of the vehicle was subsequently identified and taken into custody following investigations. Again, with the use of technologies, we were able to identify a location in Salt River in Clarendon as the last identifiable location that Miss Anglin was in. As a direct result, a number of searches were done within sections of St. Catherine and Clarendon. On Monday, June 3rd, 2024, about 6:30 a.m., police made a discovery of human skeletal remains in a section of Salt River in the parish of Clarendon. It is still too early in our investigation to state definitively that it is Miss Anglin's body, and thus we await the findings of the forensic team.
DCP Bailey also says that the suspect has since given a statement admitting his involvement, adding it appears he is a serial sex offender.
Given the weight of the evidence collected thus far, the suspect in the matter has since given a statement to the police admitting his involvement. I want to point out that this specific suspect was arrested and charged sometime about 2015 by the police for sexual offenses. He was also convicted in Antigua for sexual offenses and deported to Jamaica. We appeal to the public, if you have any information that can assist with this case and any other, please reach out to 119 or the nearest police station.
And DCP Bailey says if the DNA found, the remains found, prove to be those of the missing teacher, it would suggest she was killed the very day she disappeared.
She was killed the same day when she disappeared. She was picked up by the suspect. We have identified that she was picked up by the suspect. I can also say that with the help of Jamaica High, we were able to identify a specific route which the motor car that she was in traveled. We were able to identify some special items through the Jamaican Eyes system. And so we believe that she was taken to the location. And based on the analysis that was done by CFCD, we believe that she was taken to that specific location and killed.
Gunmen made off with an undetermined sum of money from the Alliance MoneyGram outlet in Portmore, St. Catherine. Natalia Clark has more on Monday morning's robbery.
Fair, tears and screams, all features at the latest major money heist in Portmore, St. Catherine. This is Block B inside the Portmore Mall. The area was closed off today as civilians and business owners were sent scrambling at the sound of gunshots rippling through the mall. Reports are that armed men entered the Alliance MoneyGram outlet inside the mall at around 11:15 a.m., demanding money from the tellers. Deputy Superintendent of Police, DSP Earl Grant, in charge of Zone 2, St. Catherine South Division, told the media that the two men entered the establishment wearing masks before brandishing their weapons.
Both wearing masks over their faces. They pulled firearms and proceeded to held up the tellers within the establishment, and it demanded money, of which they received.
DSP Grant says evidence points to one of the gunmen being injured in an exchange with a security guard on duty.
There was an exchange of gunfire between the security guard and the gunmen, one of whom we believe to be hit as a result of the gunfire. They both escaped with an undetermined sum of cash.
The men reportedly escaped in a waiting motor car, which was later recovered by the police in Westmead, Portmore, with bloodstains inside. DSP Grant says they have made significant progress in the case and one person is in custody. He, however, says details cannot be shared at this time.
We have also advanced our investigation. I will not say much about that in terms of having someone in custody who we are interviewing right now in relation to the men who were involved in this robbery.
The DSP says no civilian nor any of the tellers were injured in the incident, but says the tellers are traumatized and so they will receive counseling from his team. He is urging anyone with information to contact the Portmore Police or call 119. Natalia Clark, CVM News.
Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton narrowly avoided serious injuries after a bicycle accident on Sunday morning. Vice Chairman of the National Road Safety Council, Dr. Lucien Jones, praised Tufton for setting a good example by wearing his helmet, emphasizing the importance of road safety awareness. Renaldo Adams reports.
Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton had a lucky escape after being hit off his bicycle on Charlemont Avenue in St. Andrew on Sunday morning. This is a post Dr. Tufton made to Instagram mere hours after the incident. The minister remains in hospital up to news time. Vice Chairman of the National Road Safety Council, Dr. Lucien Jones, extended his best wishes to Minister Tufton.
We are giving thanks that the name of the Honorable Minister of Health, Chris Tufton, was not in the dreaded police report about road deaths in the nation. And as we give thanks for his life, we commend him to the mercy of God Almighty, that he may recover speedily and return to his work to do the nation's business.
An ardent road safety campaigner, Dr. Jones spoke about the importance of wearing a helmet.
As we have been saying, helmet saves lives. And even though he was a pedal cyclist, and the law does not require you to wear a helmet, he set a good example and may have saved his own life by wearing a helmet. So we want to commend this example to all the motorcyclists, all the pedal cyclists, and to commend to all road users the importance of making sure that you are safe on the roads, that you slow down, that you don't drink and drive, that you don't smoke marijuana and drive, that you don't use your cell phone and drive.
Dr. Tufton suffered a broken wrist but underwent a successful surgery. Renaldo Adams, CVM News.
More CVM News at 7 to come after this break.
Harry, how was school?
It was really good, but I'm really hungry. Can we get some juicy patties?
Sure we can. I never see a boy look pretty like you.
Hey son, you good?
No, Dad, I'm starving. Can we get some juicy patties?
Celebrating over 40 years of everyday moments.
With a chance. Scores! Mikel Antonio, and it's a goal! And the Reggae Boys take the lead. And Jamaica puts this one on ice.
Our days get a little complex sometimes. Often so many things make sense, yet so many do not. We are being intentional about giving prominence to the big stories in order to clarify and enlighten. Lead Story explains who, what, when, where, why, and how. Lead Story with George Davis, weekdays at 6:30 p.m. on CVM TV.
Thanks so much for staying with us. An attack on Parliament has sparked concerns about the vulnerability of Gordon House. And as you'll hear from our reporter Ramon Gordon, security experts are calling for urgent upgrades to prevent future incidents.
Parliament is vulnerable. That's according to at least one security expert who's reacting to the unprecedented arson attack on Jamaica's Legislative House on Saturday. Reports state that at 10 p.m., a man threw a plastic bottle containing an accelerant at Gordon House before escaping along Duke Street in downtown Kingston. Security expert and managing director at Shields Crime and Security Consultants, Mark Shields, believes it may be time for upgrades.
This particular building is vulnerable because it's on a public thoroughfare. We saw the suspects loitering outside the building for a while, which should immediately have alerted security. One has to spend the money, make the investment in reviewing the IT security that is available at Gordon House and ensuring that something like this doesn't happen again.
The unprecedented attack continues to be a topic of discussion locally. Speaking with the CVM News on Monday, Tashana Sewell, Director of Corporate Communications and Public Relations for the House, said that stakeholders would meet today to discuss the incident. However, up to news time, there was no update on that front. But at least one other expert, criminologist Dr. Jason Mackay, is suggesting a more immediate solution.
I think we've reached a point that we need to create a perimeter around it to protect it. So it's not a building you can no longer drive directly up to after hours. You want to be proactive and ensure that the persons who are handling the business of our state are safe.
In a release at the weekend, Parliament announced it would launch a swift review of security arrangements at the institution following the attack.
As always happens, that when there is a critical incident, something happens, then we all jump to a security review. It's always best to be proactive, conduct security reviews before things like this happen. An attack on a parliamentary building is a serious offence.
The suspect, caught on CCTV footage, has yet to be apprehended, but investigations are underway. Meanwhile, the opposition is condemning the incident. In a release Sunday, the PNP said, quote, "It is unacceptable that such an institution would be left unguarded." However, the government has since denied that charge. Suggestions for parliamentary upgrades come amid ongoing discussions to construct a new parliament. Speaking with the CVM News in January, former Information Minister Robert Morgan said the $7.5 billion project had been delayed.
Well, maybe it's time that we move the parliament to a safer location, Jamaica House. I know we have a plan to build one, but I think if until we reach to that juncture, perhaps we should put the parliament functions taking place within the Jamaica House compound. You don't want to have a situation where heads of state are exposed like this.
Efforts to reach Leader of Government Business Ed Bartlett and Leader of Opposition Business Philip Paulwell were unsuccessful. House Speaker Juliet Holness pointed us to the statement Parliament released on Sunday. Ramon Gordon for CVM News.
And speaking with CVM News late Monday, Senate President Tom Tavares Finson says following a meeting with the security forces on Monday, Parliament has identified significant deficiencies requiring immediate action.
One of those issues relate to the maintenance of the camera system, which is really outdated. So we are moving to immediately improve that aspect of the security arrangement there. And a number of other arrangements have been suggested by the Police High Command, which they will cooperate with us in putting into effect as early as possible.
The president admits that the houses have fallen behind technologically.
Persons, no doubt. Some persons saw the video from the Parliament and recognized that the camera system is woefully outdated. A number of other arrangements are to be made, which I wouldn't discuss publicly, but the clerk, Ms. Colleen Lowe, and persons responsible for the plant and the security of the Parliament have met with the police. We are satisfied that the arrangements that are being made will secure the building in the future.
I was poisoned. That's the claim of St. Catherine's Southeastern caretaker Dr. Alfred Dawes. He made the revelation during a meeting on Sunday where he told party workers there are persons out to destroy his character and even his life. CVM's Angela Melville tells us more.
St. Catherine's South East caretaker, the PNP's Dr. Alfred Dawes, made chilling remarks on Sunday when he appeared before party workers at the Waterford High School in the constituency. The medical doctor shared how he was allegedly poisoned following a hailstorm of criticism over his selection by the party to run in the next general election.
We got the food, and I was dropping out. She said, "My MP don't eat from morning, better you eat it." Dropped her home. I was eating the food. My throat started to tighten up. And I couldn't breathe.
That's when he allegedly contacted friends in the constabulary and medical doctors, informing them of his predicament. He was later admitted to the University Hospital of the West Indies for treatment, where he learned he was poisoned. By what exactly remains unknown.
The next morning, reporters kept calling, and they kept asking about the woman who was rushed to the hospital. Because the plan was never for me to eat that food, it was for her to eat that food, and they were hoping that I would be rushing a dead female to the hospital, and the scandal that ensued would destroy my name.
The political newcomer says aside from his life and health, his character and reputation have also come under attack.
Since I came into politics, just over a year ago, there have been personal attacks, there have been economic attacks, where my business partners were advised not to do business with me.
He believes there is a group of people in high places who are after his reputation by any means. However, with endorsement from opposition leader Mark Golding, backed with loud cheers of approval from workers, he remains the party's choice come election day. Golding challenged workers to coalesce, adding there is more work to be done following a closed-door meeting Friday, when some supporters demanded the return of Alaric Campbell, the initial MP hopeful.
But what I can feel here tonight is that I don't have any reason to doubt that Dr. Dawes is the right candidate for South East St. Catherine.
Angela Melville, CVM News.
The business segment comes to you after the break. Stay with us.
I'm Tara Monique from Lucien Cosmetics, Jamaica's only vegan organic makeup brand. We are the exclusive makeup sponsors for this year's MSW events 14-14-14 Mask Wedding. Our talented team of makeup artists will be providing complimentary bridal makeup services for all brides, and we're so excited. So, if you have a wedding coming up, you can find us at LucienCosmetics.com or on Instagram at Lucien Cosmetics.
Burger King with the best tasting burger under the sun. You deserve the best, you are number one. Best. Flame grilling, juicy whopper, cause you deserve it. Yeah, next level, awesome, that's how we serve it. Mama menu done your way, got the taste rules every day. Flame grilled goodness, you deserve it. Great taste, well done. More flavor, fresh Burger King, best tasting burger under the sun.
Our days get a little complex sometimes. Often so many things make sense, yet so many do not. We are being intentional about giving prominence to the big stories in order to clarify and enlighten. Lead Story explains who, what, when, where, why, and how. Lead Story with George Davis, weekdays at 6:30 p.m. on CVM TV.
Good evening, I'm Ramon Gordon. Welcome to our business segment. Tonight, a look at the evolution of Supreme Ventures Limited.
Lots to share with you in the business report today.
Having self-identified as a transaction company as recently as 2 years ago, the transformation of the Supreme Ventures Group towards a new ambition has been accelerating at pace, as described by Executive Chairman of Supreme Ventures Limited, Gary Peart, while speaking at the group's AGM for 2024.
I've heard me say initially a couple of years ago that, I see, or my team sees, Supreme as a transaction company with lottery bolted on. And I indicated that over time we're just going to bolt other business on. But because we have now moved the vision further and we now have this digital platform, which is a Supreme Life digital platform, we're now saying we're morphing now into a technology company. And that's where we now have our own proprietary lottery software program, which is what we roll out in Ghana and Guyana. We have our own proprietary phone credit software, which we do here under the brand ChargeUp. And we have our own proprietary software for bill payments, etc. So we're moving the business in keeping with international trends. And at some point, we'll see a consolidation to create more efficiency, which will drive more profits. And more profits drives more dividends.
And speaking of payouts, Mr. Peart shared the following about the group's performance over the past year.
Our customers enjoyed another great year of winnings, taking home upwards of $75 billion. SVL remains one of the most valuable investments to our shareholders, our shareholders. Our shareholder value remains strong. SVL paid out healthy dividends of 91 cents in 2023, and the total dividend payout for the year was approximately $2.5 billion. A closer look at the numbers show that the company realized a gross profit of approximately $11.8 billion, representing a marginal increase over the previous year. We continue to put the majority of our earnings back into the Jamaican economy. In 2023, the group paid over approximately $10.1 billion in fees and taxes to the government of Jamaica, an amount that is 4 times more than the group profit after tax. I wish we had the deal the government had.
According to the executive chairman, the new deal for Team Supreme, however, has the potential to place the group in a new stratosphere of efficiency and potential earnings.
If you look on how we have invested, when we did the analysis and saw that for the lottery side of the business, the younger generation, were not gravitating towards it, we bought into a sports betting brand, and then we developed our own sports betting brand. Because we wanted to be sure that we're on that path. That investment has worked out brilliantly because we grow on average, the sports betting revenues grow between 30 to 50% per annum every year since we have gone there, right? So what you have is we are very laser focused on customers, changes, wants, etc. And so we have made those investments. We believe that because of our distribution and the size of our distribution, and the feedback we're getting from customers, they want additional services. And that's why fintech becomes important. So they want to be able to do remittance on bill payments, etc. And all of that is going to be consolidated on what we call the Supreme Life platform. So we will have a platform that we're going to consolidate all of these services.
And that was your business report. I'm Joel Crosskill.
We close out the business segment with a look at the markets. More to come in CVM News at 7 after the break.
Valiant, Hitmaker, Aston Villa, star winger. Move out my way, me and Matsuma Day.
To be artist, you feel it easy, never easy.
That's the same thing there.
don't like friend them to play the ball.
Friend of my baller.
So you don't play some ball with them?
I have 2 left foot then, sir.
When we are going to see you back in the national colours, Leon?
It's a question I want to answer to.